Steve Mignonti here. You all know that I love slant sixes, and of course we know that in 1960 and 61, or sorry, 61 and 2, there were aluminum block 225 slant sixes made for production, about 55,000. But did you know they also made a plastic slant six? Here it is right here. This is actually a 1/4 scale, all plastic slant six model by Revell. Of course, Revell, one of America's biggest and best model manufacturers of Venice, California back in the day, they worked with Chrysler Corporation to come up with this 1/4 scale slant six. And as we can see, it is very detailed. The crankcase, the crankshaft, all that stuff. And check this out. The intake manifold comes off like that. And there it is, that ram-tuned intake with a very accurate 1960 A-body air cleaner. And there's the inside of the engine, complete with the cylinders on display with rings, connecting rods, the crank, all that stuff. The starter motor is right here, and inside the back is an electric motor that turns the crank and causes these parts to work. Now this one was built a long time ago. It was painted, and the builder of this did a nice job, including the grain of wheat spark plug wires that are inside each of these tubes, the distributor which actually functions, and a rubber fan belt that actually went around back in the day when this thing was fresh and new. Behind it is a 3-speed manual transmission. I forget which model this is. It's the non-synchro first gear manual found in like 1961 and 2 Dodge Darts and Plymouth Valiants and Dodge Lancers. But again, this is the Revell 1/4 scale plastic slant six. The oil pan is correct, and what a neat model. In fact, these also came with this display base, this thing right here, and it says on it Revell Slant Six right there. And in the back, this thing right here, this is where the batteries live in this tube, and there's an on-off switch. You turn the side and it turns the motor on and off. These little wires connect to the starter motor inside. So a very, very cool model. The history of this is a fellow named William Wortman, who wrote this book right here. This is Chrysler Engines 1922 through 1998. Wortman, back in the late 50s into the mid 60s, was a Chrysler engine designer. And in fact, he was one of the principals on the Slant Six program and also the Max Wedge program. In fact, if you read 1966, Hot Rod magazine had a thing called the Hemi White Paper. They were basically discussing the all-new street Hemi for 1966. And William Wortman wrote that. So Wortman, as far as I know, is still alive. Today is November 6th, 2021. And I'm pretty sure Wortman still lives in California doing well. An older fella, but a great, great guy. And he's the one who Chrysler sent out to Revell's Venice, California offices to work with them and bring blueprints and create this model kit. Now, we're going to come back in a few minutes with part 2 of this video. I actually have one of these models unbuilt. We're going to take a close look at the inside of the kit in pieces and parts, as well as the magazine advertising campaign that came with this. Now, the success of this model, well, today you're going to spend $400-500 for an unbuilt one. They're that rare. Back in the day, these kits were about $5 at a time when your typical 1/25 scale car model was 98 cents. So these were a tough sell. But that said, this is the engine that basically brought a lot of kids, made them from model builders into mechanics and automotive enthusiasts. So if you like this video, stick around. Part 2 on the story of the Revell 1/4 scale plastic slant six is coming up. And if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the Steve Mignonti YouTube channel and share it with your friends. More in just a moment.